Citizen advocacy protects the rights, needs, and interests of people with intellectual disability by connecting them in one-to-one, freely given relationships with local citizens. A citizen advocate is an unpaid person who connects with a person with intellectual disability who's at risk of social isolation and exclusion. These matches often last a very long time. Sometimes they last a lifetime.
My name's Deb Mayo and I'm the Citizen Advocacy Coordinator at Side By Side Advocacy. Citizen advocacy is quite different from other forms of advocacy, largely because the advocate is unpaid. They make a choice to be in the person's life, the life of the person with disability. And the goal of citizen advocacy is to establish one-on-one, unpaid, long-term relationships. So it's very much an independent relationship. It's like any other relationship between families or friends, and it has that advocacy component built in as well, where you've got some support from the office to ensure that it's not just it's more than a friendship.
Citizen advocacy has the potential to help change community attitudes, to bring about a greater understanding of the life experiences of people with intellectual disability, to provide safeguards for a vulnerable person, and to really bring about positive change in the life of a person with intellectual disability.
I became a citizen advocate because I had a very good friend who was telling me about her role as a citizen advocate, and I thought it was something that I would be very happy to do and that I could probably do with it. I could do it, and I thought it was something that was really important.
Citizen advocacy is so important because many people with intellectual disability have very few opportunities to make decisions and have choices in their own life. Some people don't have a choice about where they live, who they live with, who comes and goes from their home, the people who are providing them with support. They may not even have an opportunity to choose what they eat. They may be experiencing abuse, neglect, exploitation.
My name's Jeanette and I'm one of the citizen advocates for Side By Side Advocacy. I think the role of citizen advocate has a number of aspects. The first one, and I think the most important, is to just be a friend, because there's a different dynamic between people who turn up just to be a friend, to go out somewhere, to just spend time together, than someone who turns up to go to work. That feels different. And the other thing I think is just being someone who is in contact with that person, and so keeping an eye on what goes on. So if something happens that's untoward, the advocate is someone who can say, now how come that happened? Why has that happened? And then the people working with them are aware that someone is keeping an eye on things. It's not meant to be threatening at all, it's just, I'm aware. Citizen advocacy, I think, is really important because it's one of the few organisations that tries to view situations from the point of view of the person with a disability. So the idea is not to look at the big picture so much, but to see what's happening to this person and is that reasonable, is that the best thing for this person? There are lots of organisations that work to increase the funding for this or the facilities for that. Very admirable, very important. But it's really important to line up with a person and try and find out what does that person need. And it might be some fancy piece of equipment, or it might just be, let's go out every couple of weeks and do fun stuff. Let's go for a ferry ride, let's go to a football game, let's go to a movie. It's a very individualised perspective, and I think that's rare in our social system, but really, really useful.
Citizen advocacy is a movement that's around the world and still quite strong in Australia.
Currently, there are more people with intellectual disability who are really keen to be matched with a citizen advocate than there are citizen advocates available for those matches. And that's a real shame, and we really want to change that. If you're interested in learning more about citizen advocacy, perhaps you want to be a citizen advocate, or you think that you may know others who would be interested, we'd really love to hear from you. We're very open to coming out and speaking to you or to your community group, just so you get more information about how citizen advocacy can make a difference to a person with intellectual disability and make the community that you're living in more inclusive for everybody.
I would say it's the most rewarding thing you can do, and have a go.